So, Josh, you are running for the 10th congressional district in Washington, D.C. You're going to be going up against an incumbent Democrat. This is in the primary, of course, Denny Heck. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this would make you the youngest member of Congress. Let's just start with you telling us about the 10th congressional district.
Yeah, it's actually the 10th district in Washington State, so the Northwest. And so my district is Tacoma and Olympia. And we have a very working class district and a very progressive voter base and a very young voter base as well. What I'm running on is one of the most staunchly anti-imperialist left platforms in the country. And I am pushing for just the obvious, goals that we actually should have as the left in the United States. My Green New Deal is as aggressive as it can get. I am also representing every community and all of our platforms for different communities. We have a trans rights platform that is very progressive and is something that often gets forgotten. And we also have indigenous rights and the Movement for Black Lives platform. So we are running on a real progressive platform. And if I am elected to Congress, I would be the first truck driver. I would be the youngest, and I would be one of the few high school educated people in Congress.
All right. Well, let's. I want to hear more about yourself. I want to hear more about that platform. But let's first just start with the district, just so we can get a sense of this and full context of your challenge here. The district is a heavily Democratic district. Is this one of those districts where Denny Heck has to toe the line because there's a strong Republican presence, or is it more than likely that the person who wins the Democratic nomination is going to be the next congressperson?
Yes, it's very likely whoever. It's a jungle primary, so it's not unlikely that in Washington State you'll have two Democrats running in the general. And I'm running as a Democrat because we have progressives who have successfully dementored in the Democratic Party here. Now, they have denied Denny Heck endorsement and support, and a lot of his very loyal friends support, who are really just Republicans who run as Democrats. Running as a Republican in this area is political suicide. Republicans are very unpopular, and you have a better chance as an independent of winning compared to a Republican. And even then, the Democratic Party is more popular.
Fascinating. Okay, so that's the case there. I did not realize you guys had jungle primaries. All right, so with that said, my understanding about Heck is he's a three-term incumbent. He is a fairly dependable Democratic vote, does quite well in terms of reproductive rights, does quite well in terms of LGBTQ voting and whatnot. Also fairly decent in terms of environment, decent, not great. But he's also somebody who has aggressively pursued increased military spending. He voted to weaken financial regulations. He has voted to ease restrictions on payday lenders. What else? When you look at this, I mean, I guess I want to get a sense of how much of this is a problem with Heck, and how much also is your desire to push the Democratic Party further and more aggressive at a time where, frankly, a lot of people, young people, are looking for the Democrats, and older people, to be fair, I'm a little older, are looking for Democrats to get a lot more aggressive and in some ways return to their roots.
Yeah, so Denny Heck's his history is actually, he's been in Washington state politics for over 40 years. He lost in his district, which where he lived, which was Southern Washington, to Jamie Rare Butler. And that's when they redistricted and created the 10th just for him to run in. So that was how he got into his seat. His history, he's taken public stances on a lot of issues. And if you are anywhere on the left, you would not like this guy. He has publicly stated he will never support Medicare for all. And he's the type that even if we get a Bernie Sanders presidency and we have a supermajority, he would still be fighting Medicare for all because it's where he gets his money. He gets money from the entire health care industry.
My understanding is he's since coming into office in 2013, he's gotten over $500,000 from the healthcare industry. That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, he's gotten a lot of money from the healthcare industry, the health insurance industry, and also, and the reason he goes with, loosening, financial regulations, he takes a lot of money from the banks. One of his top donors is J.P. Morgan, and so, he's perfectly in bed with them, and he has voted consistently with his donors. Now, as you might know, Shema Sawant, who is a city council woman in Seattle. She had to fight Amazon. I'm going to have to do that as well. He has already received $17,000 from Amazon. And so I'm going to have to fight whatever Jeff Bezos wants to drop into my race. And they are going to do everything they can to hold this because they are trying to keep control of politics in Washington. They pour money into almost every politician in Washington state, Republican or Democrat. So I'm going to have to fight against Jeff Bezos, because he's definitely going to be on Denny Heck's side.
That's fascinating. We should say the Amazon poured at least $1 million, maybe $1.5 million dollars into that race to unseat Shema Sawant. And after it was a delayed result because they had to wait for the early voting ballots to be counted, she ended up prevailing. Not too coincidentally, apparently Denny Heck has a $1.6 million war chest. So give us a sense first of what your plan stands for. You are supportive of, I think, of basically a menu of the most left positions in the Democratic Party. Tell us some of those.
Yeah. So my foreign policy, it is not just anti-war, it's anti-imperialist. I believe in abolishing the CIA, the NSA, the DHS. We have a lot of entities that are essentially rogue and unaccountable, that are violating human rights around the world. We just saw what happened in Bolivia. And we should not be meddling in the democracies of other nations. I believe in ending all of our wars and facing the real threat that faces the planet, and that is climate change. I want to actually start solving problems on this planet. We want to, transition to green energy, but we also want to clean the plastic out of the ocean and just completely remove the Great Pacific garbage patch, because I feel like that's what real leadership should look like, not, trying to lead the world with a gun to their head, but rather by actually leading by example and improving the planet that we all live on. Okay.
And so, all right, give us a sense of your background. You mentioned that you have a high school education, and I know that you're a truck driver. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah. So, I went to high school. I just went to public school, and then, I became a truck driver as soon as I turned 21, and I've been to 48 states as a truck driver. I spent a lot of my time, learning about politics and, paying attention to the news and trying to understand everything that's going on. And what I've seen is just that we don't really have any real representation. A lot of the people who go to Congress are lawyers or people from the management class, and people who haven't really had the experience of a regular working class person in this country. And they govern like that. They legislate like a person who has never experienced regular life in this country. So they, a lot of the policies a lot of the plans and policies that we see are like kind of roundabout ways of trying to, reduce the effect of problems that we deal with, and none of them are really aggressive or bold. They try to save money and try to consider the needs of the very wealthy, of corporations, and the top 1%. Whereas for myself, I don't really care about the rich. And when I say that, I mean I don't care about their needs or about what they are going to say about what I am pushing for. I care about what regular people need. I care about actually implementing policies and programs that will improve the lives of the rest of the country, the people who actually make up the country. Rather than focusing on Boeing executives or the people running Wall Street. I'm focusing on the truck drivers, the teachers, the nurses, welders, fast food cashiers, etc. Those are the people that I'm worried about. People who are living paycheck to paycheck and really actually need someone fighting for them in Congress and in Washington State in general. The best congressperson we have is Pramila Jayapal, and she's alone in our state. There is no one to the left of her in our state, so that is in Congress. And the result of that is we see people like Denny Heck being silent on everything going on in our state. There is a concentration camp right across the border of his district, and there is the LNG plant that is we are fighting against every day. And he is completely silent on these issues. He's silent on Bolivia. He's silent on pretty much everything except for what's going on with the Mueller investigation, with the impeachment proceedings. And his entire record in politics has been narrowly focused on whatever the mainstream topic is, and he doesn't stray from that because it usually would probably hurt him with his donors, essentially.
Interesting. All right, so give me your sense. I mean, I've been good friends with a truck driver or two, frankly, and I got to say, in the main, these guys, at least in the context of the guys I know, we have joked about it. We're friendly about it, but my politics are way to the left of theirs. And I would imagine also the case with you. Give me a sense of within the context of that community, how much, what's your sense of talking to truckers, to working with truckers? Is there an opportunity? Are they open to the type of politics you're talking about? And I say that only because there's nothing that's particular about truckers per se, other than the fact that those are the folks that you have worked with, and I think traditionally tend to be a little bit more conservative.
So actually, my experience with truck drivers is mostly apathy. Most of them have no faith in politicians. They don't trust politicians. But when you actually talk to them about the issues and where they stand on, the climate crisis and automation, they know that, their jobs are going away anyway. And they know that we can come up with a solution that takes care of them. And for that reason, the number one person or presidential candidate that truckers are donating to, it isn't Trump, it's Bernie Sanders. And and I'm one of those. And I know many truck drivers who have donated to Bernie Sanders, many of them who are apolitical, they don't pay attention to politics much, but they hear what Bernie Sanders is saying. They know that he is real. They know what he's saying is honest, and that's the effect that I've had as well. They, even if they don't agree with me on everything, they know that I'm not bullshitting, and that's been my experience.
Okay, we will have to blank that word out for radio purposes, but no problem. It gives you a sense of I think form follows function there. All right, we just had about a minute left. Give me a sense of what you feel you need to do to beat Denny Heck. He's got $1.5 million. What do you need from people? What do you need to do as a candidate?
We need people knocking doors. That's our primary focus, and we are going to knock almost every door in this district. We have a very experienced and talented staff, and we have over 800 volunteers that are active. And so, if anyone wants to join that, they can go to joshua2020.com/howdy, and you get free stickers as well. So.
You get free stickers. And so you're looking for a big grassroots campaign where you get a lot of volunteers. 800 is a lot of people. How long have you been running?
So I've been running since the second quarter this year when I filed.
Good for you. And when is the actual primary?
August of next year.
So this you've got a ways to go. You got a lot of time. And just lastly, we got about 20 seconds left. Do you think Denny Heck is prepared for this? Do you think he's taking you seriously, or do you think he's taking any challenge seriously?
No, he isn't. He has been campaigning for and endorsing Republicans in this last few months, leading up to this last election. Republicans running against, progressive women of color who are very popular in the community. He doesn't think that he is vulnerable at all. He's making decisions and, not even appearing in district. He doesn't show up to any events. He doesn't show up his support in any way, except from, giving angry emails to people who support people who don't support him, I guess. So he's not taking it seriously. He thinks that he runs this place when in reality he's not from here, and he's just some multimillionaire who bought the election 6 years ago.
Wow. Well, that sounds like fertile ground for a potential upset. Joshua Collins, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.